communities are more popular than email based on a study from Nielsen this year. Think about that. Remember when email was new for some of us that are older? You know, it was shocking how email was going to change our lives, and now it's passé. And particularly among the younger audience, you'll find, go to any conference that has a preponderance of under 34-year-olds, and what will you see? They're not on email. They're on Facebook and Twitter. And social media has overtaken porn as the #1 online activity. Yay! Somebody finally beat porn. Now, and social even beats search. You think about the predominance, the overwhelming dominance of Google for so long. Google's not the winner anymore. Now, granted, Google is extraordinarily big and successful, but Facebook overtook Google this year as the most visited site. And it's not just visits. They're staying. They're spending tons and tons of time. That is not a heavy user of Facebook that's spending over 7 hours a month. That's an average user. And an average user has 130 of their friends on there with them. And if Facebook were a country, it'd be the 3rd largest country in the world. This number is actually out of date. They're just behind India and China and have eclipsed the US. So 500 million people across the world are logging into Facebook. And most are doing it once a week. And grocery shoppers are even more important on Facebook. A study recently came out where they interviewed women who are 18 to 34. 39% proclaim themselves Facebook addicts. 57% said they talk more online than they do face-to-face anymore. And my favorite, 1/3 check Facebook when they wake up, even before going to the bathroom. And I have validated this on our own team. I asked all the people who were women 18 to 34, and actually, out of all of them, more than 2/3 said that they actually check Facebook. They wake up, reach over to their smartphone, check Facebook before they even get out of bed. Now, that doesn't change the relationship you have to have with your shoppers. I don't know what does. You beat the bathroom. And marketers are generally reacting to this. If you look across the top marketers, this is a study done by digital marketing agency, and what they determined was, they said, what are your top priorities in 2010? This was top marketers across the world. Social networks and applications was #1 priority. 45% said that was their top priority. An additional 42% said it was important. So you're effectively saying, almost every major marketing organization in the world is now saying that social networking is where I've got to succeed to communicate with my consumers. And the budgets are swelling as well. I know we saw some numbers in the earlier presentation about how this was the 2nd highest growth sector in our industry. Well, if you step outside of grocery, it's even bigger. What you see is in the earlier part of this year, budgets have already grown from 2009 to 2010 up to 6%. Now they're saying, look, in the next 12 months, it's going to go up to 10%. And then when they look out farther in the future and say, gee, how much am I going to spend in the next 5 years? 17, almost 18% of their marketing budget is expected to go to social media investments. That's extraordinary. But there's a problem. All of us who have brands aren't always liked. A lot of times consumers say, you know, I don't particularly trust you, Mr. or Mrs. Brand. I may like your product, but when you're yelling at me, talking to me, telling me what I should think, guess what? I'm drawing away, not closer. And that's the antithesis of what social networks are about. Because when you look at it, 78% of consumers trust their peer recommendations. When they say, I like El Monterey burritos, guess what? They trust that. If we tell them that they should, in our advertising, only 14% buy that argument. So the key again, get into the conversation that consumers are having about your brands.